Hey gang, it's Uncle Charlie, and I wanted to create a channel so that all of the VIPs could get to know me and to hear my stories. So in this channel, I share my stories and I share creative slideshows, fun facts about Uncle Charlie, and I even share my miracle testimony. Here's a sample video of how I got my stage name, Uncle Charlie. Enjoy. Hey gang, it's Uncle Charlie. And I bet some of you guys are probably wondering by now, where did you get that name Uncle Charlie? Because you're certainly not my uncle. You know what? You would be right about that. I am not your uncle. There's actually a very cool story about how I got that stage name Uncle Charlie, and I want to share it with you. You see, early in my career, I used to travel to Africa to do some mission work. For 4 years in a row, I would go from like 1 to 2 weeks at a time, and I would help a ministry called Watoto. Watoto is a Swahili word that means the children. And what they did is they took care of orphan children. Watoto Child Care Ministries is a wonderful ministry, and it's based in the capital city of Kampala, Uganda. They take homeless orphan children off of the streets and they give them new homes to live in. They build these villages with many small homes, and some of the villages have 30 to 40 homes, while some of the bigger ones even have hundreds of homes. Each home has a widow mom who is a Christian, and she adopts up to 8 children at a time and gives them shelter and food and clothing and even schooling. And best of all, these new mommies and the ministry give them the love and the care that they need, and they tell them about Jesus. Many of these children grow up to be leaders for the kingdom of God. So the ministry is all about taking orphan children who had nobody. They were living in the streets. And they take them in and they give them new homes, they give them a new mommy, and they teach them about the love of Jesus, and they take great care of them. They have several villages now, and they're taking care of over 4,000 to 5,000 orphans. Tammy and I have spent time with the children in these villages, just showing them the love of Jesus. You know, they just love it when Americans come to visit them. It's such a big deal to them that someone would come halfway across the world just to see them. You would have thought it was Christmas. Then to top it off, I got to teach and lead worship at their annual Watoto camp. Over 1,000 of the older Watoto children would get to come to the camp, and we would sing all of our Uncle Charlie songs, and I would get to teach them about the love of Jesus. Many of those children would give their lives to Jesus just because they got to go to camp and hear the good news of the gospel. All right, now back to the story about how I actually got that name. You see, in Uganda, the children there, they speak Lugandan and they speak Swahili, and many of them are actually taught English. But when they're taught English, they speak in kind of that British dialect because it's British colony in East Africa, and so it's really cute to hear them speak. Well, they adopted a British custom that basically says, children, when you speak to adults, you don't call them Mr. and Mrs. or Ma'am and Sir. Instead, you call them uncles and aunties. You see, that's their term of respect for adults. So when they say uncle or auntie, they know that you're not their relative. What they're doing is they're giving you respect for being an adult, for being older than they are. So I would be Uncle Charlie, and my wife would be Auntie Tammy, and that's how I got my stage name, Uncle Charlie. You know, I did get a nickname when I was in Africa, and it's pretty funny. And actually, it's all because I have hair on my arms. You see, the people in Uganda, they don't grow hair on their arms or their legs. It's a cultural thing. So when they see a hairy American that comes over to see them, they just think that's the coolest thing in the world. You see, you may not be able to tell by looking at the video that I have a lot of hair on my arms, but if you were close up, you would notice that. And for them, that is a super big deal. Man, they would gather around in big groups and they would just start rubbing on my arm. Uncle Charlie, Uncle Charlie, Uncle Charlie, Uncle Charlie. They'd drive me crazy. Well, one day, this little boy was doing the same thing in my arm, and I asked him a question in front of all of his little buddies that I probably should have never asked. I looked down at him and I said, "Do you think Uncle Charlie is a monkey?" That started it. Word got around so fast, and from that moment forward, I was Monkey Charlie. Every time those kids would see me, they'd go, Monkey Charlie, Monkey Charlie, ooh, 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 ooh. What can I say? I had to live with it. That's my nickname in Africa, is Monkey Charlie. But you, my friends, you can call me Uncle Charlie, okay? Oh man, that's just wrong. So there's the story about how I got my name Uncle Charlie, and yes, my nickname Monkey Charlie. I hope you enjoyed the story. God bless, and I'll see you here, there, or in the air.